Hi, Dr. Rudy Cashman. Welcome to the show. This show, frankly, is about good news. I'm going to give you information about diabetes, type 1, type 2, explain a little bit. But the good news is you can get rid of your diabetes, and I mean it 90% of the time, just in a few weeks, yes. Public out there, I think, doesn't know it. Doctors don't teach it. They want you to take the medicine, give the medicine. I'll explain all that to you, okay? But the good news is that the majority of the time you can get rid of it. The people today, though, are accepting it, and I think because they don't fully understand it. So you need to gather some information. And I'm really pushy about this one because diabetes type 2 can cause hundreds of other diseases, heart attacks, strokes, dementia, amputations, dislocations, all these things. The majority could be avoided. Don't accept diabetes. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. So let's get on the road. What am I speaking about here? First of all, the difference between type 1 and type 2. In type 1, you need insulin, otherwise you're not going to live. But that's only 10% of diabetes. 90% of diabetics have too much insulin, and they're taking insulin shots, which can be avoided most of the time by getting rid of the disease in the first place. And it doesn't take a long time. In type 1 diabetes, where you don't have any insulin at all, because the pancreas died. A lot of them had autoimmune diseases where, bang, it's gone. What causes that? Well, one cause is milk consumption. One cause is milk consumption. It can cause autoimmune disease. It takes the pancreas with it, so you don't secrete any insulin. And it's the casein in milk that does it. When a calf is born, they give it growth hormone to make it grow to produce more milk. And then they put the cow in a cage, and they put all kind of chemicals on the cow to make it grow some more milk. And now they make a lot of money because the cows produce a lot of milk, and they can sell it, and your kid's drinking it, and you get an autoimmune reaction, and now they're type 1 diabetic. That's one of the causes. Another cause can be eating a pure vegetable diet. I have an autoimmune reaction to the gluten, and you can have it there also. But my biggest passion really is the type 2 diabetes, where the insulin level is too high. Who gets diabetes? You say, well, it's only the overweight. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. 30% of people of normal weight can get diabetes. So when someone walks up to me and says, oh, my blood sugar is normal, I'm not diabetic. I say, are you diabetic? I need to know your serum insulin. I need to know your serum insulin. Serum insulin can be elevated 10 to 20 years before your blood sugar ever goes up. But while the insulin level is up, it's causing a lot of damage in your health system. You may not have any symptoms, but you may be getting cancer, you may be getting vascular disease, you just don't know about it yet. So I personally think we should be screening children starting at age 2 or 3, yes, because they may be in the road to diabetes, and you can avoid all those diseases I spoke about. Diabetic Association, I mean, the pediatricians, they start checking at age 10. I noticed recently they approved Ozempic, one of the GLP-1 enhancement medications for kids as young as 12 years old. That's fine. It may be needed. They may be very obese and they need it, but you need to understand the science of it. And yeah, the largest weight increases actually occurred in the 2 to 6 years old. So about 30% of thin people are diabetic. They need to get their serum insulin checked as well as their blood sugar. You show those to me and I'll say, well, you're not diabetic. Okay, but unless you show me at least both tests, just to say my blood sugar is normal, I'm not diabetic, is incorrect. So we have many people walking out there who've got diabetes, and the diseases diabetes causes are already occurring in their body, although they have no symptoms. They may just grab their chest and die right there. 50% of the people with heart disease we know just grab their chest and they're gone. And what was going on? Well, the majority of the time what was going on is their serum insulins were elevated and they had vascular disease in their eyes, in their ears, in their heart, and they had heart disease, but they didn't know it. Yeah, so I think it's very important. And and other nations are doing a better job at it than we are. Here's a book called A Fork in the Road, written by the Unwins, U-N-W-I-N. This was written by Jen, but her husband David too. They both, just listen to this story. You can get it on Amazon real cheap in the library for free to read it and to bring it back. But I think it's a great book. Suppose you want to prevent diabetes or you're already diabetic, because sugar eaters, which helps cause diabetes, a lot of them are also addicted to sugar. And David and Jen were physicians in the English system, socialistic system. It treats about 80% of the people. And Dr. Unwin was a doctor, and then so was Jen, who taught psychology. And he was overweight, and he was diabetic, so was his wife. There's pictures of them in there. And a patient of Dr. Unwin's walked in one day, and he didn't recognize her. He'd been a doctor 9 years. And because she had lost a lot of weight and got rid of her diabetes by looking online and learning from actually many women, a number had gathered together, texting each other, speaking virtually to each other. And she said, she was a bold person, and said, Dr. Unwin, you don't know what you're talking about. And she told her story about how to get rid of diabetes. Remember, Dr. Unwin and his wife Jen are both diabetic too, but instead of being closed-minded, which most people would be, he was not closed-minded. And the English keep the records, medical records of people starting from birth to death. So they have about 45 years of records, so it's easy to research. So he did some research on his patients. He took care of himself outside the socialistic system, and he determined that she was right. She was right. Him, Dr. Unwin, and his wife both lost weight, got rid of the diabetes very, very quickly, but then started introducing it to the English system, and because diabetic patients cost a lot more money, the English system began to keep the money. So they saved a lot of money, and this information got out there, and he started giving lectures all over the world. Dr. David Unwin now has been to 22 countries. You can get his shows on YouTube. They're excellent. They also have a conference, Public Health Collaboration UK.org. They have a lot of information for free. But some, to get from there, you join them $100 a year. Okay, I paid that, but they have a conference once a year, and I was going to go to it. It was just the beginning of November, But I had a thing, my daughter in Augusta, Georgia, and I just came back last week. So I didn't go to the conference, but the speeches that they give at the conference then go online anyway, and they can be accessed. So you can go to YouTube, David Unwin, and you can get up a tremendous amount of free YouTube shows, tremendous amount. And people who speak at their conferences, Ben Bickman is a good one, just to watch his YouTube show. A tremendous amount of information you can gather if you need more information. But again, sugar is addictive, so some people get rid of their disease, and then it keeps back because they keep sneaking the sugary foods back. So addiction can be part of it. But in their book, they have tremendous number of websites that you can relate to, pages of them. So I think it's an excellent book that you can get. You know, the websites, Fork in the Road, Bitten's Addiction, Sugar, Global.com, Robert Lustig, very famous people, you've heard of them, AddictionUnplugged.com. I think that's a wonderful website. And because you may cure your diabetes by eating proper food and everything. Because you're an addict, you start eating bad foods again. And a good one to connect to, incidentally, is Virta Health, V-I-R-T-A, Virta Health. They meet with you online. It may cost a little bit, but to go to diabetes, where you're spending 2,000 or 3,000 years of medications, and for too long they'll be amputating your legs and you go to dementia, I think it clearly is worth it. So processed food addiction is another website, but there's 2 pages of websites here. So and even recipes and a wonderful book for you to look at. Now, suppose you indeed are diabetic, or you want to prevent it. I tell you an easy way. You don't have to gather a tremendous amount of information, but Susan Ryan also has good websites, information you get on YouTube. Just punch in YouTube, Susan Ryan, and what I like about this book is that she used to weigh 120 pounds more than she weighs now. You see this beautiful lady on the cover, her husband, the same darn thing. She gathered the information, and then she wrote a book. I like this book because the first 60 pages, she explains as a keto way of eating. See, science does change, and you have to be open-minded to it. And the science, and I'm open to it. I think keto is a simple way, eating good fats. And I explained to you what the foods are. And she has a pyramid in there, and which is to eat about 50, 70% good fats and 20% protein type products, plus or minus, and then fruits and vegetables on top. And you can get rid of diabetes 1 month. That's all it would take, 1 month. But then she does the most beautiful thing. She has pictures of the meals that she recommends in their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I do 2 meals a day, which I think doubles the speed to get rid of your diabetes, because you will then go through autophagia and fasting, things that I explain in some of my other shows, YouTube shows that you can watch. But to get rid of diabetes, it's not food deprivation. It's beautiful food. And just to look at her recipes here, I mean, it's pictures. And then she explains to you what she put in that recipe and tells you at the bottom of the page the total calories, the amount of protein, carbs, the amount of fat, and the food is delicious. I personally think this book, Simply Keto, by Susan Ryan, if you don't have diabetes, it's a great book, so you won't get it in the future. If you got it, it'll help you how to get rid of it quickly. Remember I mentioned before, a lot of people eat sugary foods. They're addicted to food. If you ate a donut, nature arranged it that way. If you had a donut down there for me right now and I had to look at it for a while, I might grab it and eat it. It's natural. It's in nature. And because years ago, processed food and sugar wasn't available, so you didn't have to worry about it. But now it's available year-round. You drive anywhere, and you can grab it. So sugar addiction is part of it. Remember Dr. Unman and his wife Jen got over the addiction part too by proper selection of food, and then these websites explain that to you. Let me, so what is the proper way of eating? To eat about 60-70% food from good fats. And great examples of recipes in Susan Ryan's book and in books which I wrote. I have known that you can get rid of diabetes many years ago. It causes such a great amount of illness, amputations, dislocations, dementia, heart attacks, cancer. I can go on and on. Look at my book, Rudy's War on Diabetes. I was so upset about it, I declared war on it. I wrote that book many, many years ago. I know a lot more now. I believe even stronger about this. Why America and the world? America, probably 80-90% of the people are diabetic. Yeah. Oh, I'm not diabetic because I had the wrong test. And remember, the thin can be diabetic. The 80% of the overweight can be diabetic. So get tested. Serum insulin, your blood sugar, okay, and other things you can do. Your triglyceride HDL ratio is another good test. Inflammation, CRP, is important. Two, about the two main ones, the king is insulin. The king is insulin. So I have my own food pyramid here. You can find it online here, just like Susan Ryan does. It's really not a great deal of difference. I have pictures of the covers of books at the bottom that you might want to remember. This is the beginning of your information, but it's pretty on the money. And other books I recommend there, but good food would be Rudy's Keto 16-8 is sort of what I recommend, which 16 hours you don't eat, 8 hours you eat. If one of those two meals you eat healthy food, a cup of eggs are good for you. The cholesterol theory disease is dead. It is dead. The statin drugs you give you only make things worse. If you don't believe it, read a book by Evans, Toxic Effect of Statins. This sick, just read the summary. You don't have to read the book. I've done the shows on that incidentally on YouTube, which I did, that explained it to you. Statin drugs. I know some hospitals here that where someone, for me, collected information of every patient they operated on, no names, nothing, but wrote down the 80% in that hospital of people got operated on the heart or on statin drugs. They were on statin drugs. Don't accept me as the last information, but there are many books out. Yeah, The Myth of Cholesterol, books like that. It's not just one book, but many books. The hospital system is interested in you staying sick, so they get then that in prevention. I want to get at the root of the problem. We're treating the result of the problem, okay? And you can save yourself a lot of money, look better, maybe you know, be 88, no disease, no pills. One person is not proof, but I've changed. I used to not be as healthy as I am, but I changed, and my body responded, and I do these things. I exercise. I eat right. I eat 2 meals a day. 2 meals a day it'll double the speed if you're getting rid of diabetes, because you go through autophagia and fasting, and if you eat 2 meals a day, the last meal you eat anything you want to, even have dessert. I do. This morning I weigh 134 pounds. I have no disease. I get my blood test done regularly to double check, so I can prove it to you. Well, like I said, one case isn't anything, but things that we recommend to eat good fats, guacamole, cheese, ghee, MCT oil you could drink, olive oil, for example, and there's a whole list of the good foods in Simply Keto's book here on my website. Another good book, which again is proof, I have a couple more here, Goodbye Pills and Needles, okay? What insulin does is drive the sugar into the cell, but it doesn't get out of the body. The cell gets fat, and you get fat. So you want to gain some weight, take insulin shots. But if you can get rid of these in a few weeks, why would you want to do that unless it's an emergency? You need to save your life. If you're type 1 diabetic and you're unconscious, for Pete's sake, take an insulin shot. But you're type 2 diabetic, most of the time you get time. And I also highly recommend that you wear one of these glucose monitors if you're diabetic. Wear them here, and like I said, they're more expensive. But I've noticed recently these watches you can get here. They check your blood sugar off your sweat. They're pretty accurate. Don't let that be your final one. But I've been wearing one so I could teach people. I've had this one 9 months, and it's accurate. I just bought another one for $66, and I'll see how accurate that is, because I'm measured before meals, after meals, when I wake up, when I'm stressed, or I'm not stressed, or a little bit stressed. The sugars varies, and because this is a very serious disease, and you don't. Cancer rates are way up. In matter of fact, most cancers are caused by sugar. Mm-hmm. Breast cancer, I wrote a book on that. Prevention is the cure. Prevention is the cure. 300 genes cause breast cancer. What are you going to take? 300 drugs? No. But they have found out in 2009, the National Cancer Institute said, well, we've published 4 million scientific papers. We have spent $4 billion. We have not proven the genetic theory of cancer. It's lifestyle. CCL and retinoblastoma can be caused by one gene, one drug, and you can control or avoid the cancer. Okay, but the rest of the cancer takes multiple genes. Breast cancer, 200 or 300 genes. So what's been occurring in this town, they have organizations here that have golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, pickleball tournaments. They take all the money, send it to IU for research, when we already know that is not the answer. It's lifestyle. 90% of the time, if you don't want breast cancer, proper lifestyle. You need to read a little more about it. The book explains it in more detail, but exercising, eating the right food, not smoking, alcohol consumption, they all affect breast cancer. It's lifestyle that prevents breast cancer 90% of the time. So the money needs to stay in town to teach the people the right way to do it. I've been doing it for years, but not everybody watches the show, and not everybody reacts and does the right thing. A lot of people are like this. I'll have that food that makes me sick instead of being preventive. A couple of other people who wrote a lot about it. Here's Tom Jelinek, to totally rethink type 2 diabetes. Totally rethink it. Maybe you need to rethink it. Maybe we all need to rethink it. A very excellent book. And he even has chapters in there. Even the drug that almost everybody takes is diabetic metformin. Well, metformin also has side effects, and some of which are even fatal, some of which even cause cancer. Read about it. Make up your own mind. Don't stop the drug over what I just said. Read the Tom Jelinek's book and make up your own mind, but it's an excellent book. So he's talking about throwing away your pills and needles, but you got to get the knowledge first. Another good book is Jason Fung. A lot of YouTube shows are his. You can watch them. He wrote a book, Diabetes Code, Cancer Code, and you go on and on. And he has a tremendous amount of YouTube shows that are available for you to look at. You just go YouTube, Jason Fung, diabetes, and get another opinion. I don't want you to act just on what I say. I want you to act on multiple pieces of information, but I provided for you a tremendous amount of information. Yes. So let's summarize things here a little bit. I would like you to learn to eat. Your food per minute should be good fats, 50-70% good fats, and eat some protein. And if you're an older person, maybe like me, eat a little more protein because it builds up the structure of us a bit better. But fruit and vegetables, you got to know what the sugar level is in them. The fructose that's in a lot of fruits goes to the liver. It doesn't even, and then it causes inflammation, increased rates of cancer from there. So you need to learn a little bit about what fruits do you. And some vegetables are a little better than others. So the food pyramid, and if you decide, well, what do I eat? Make it simple. Get Susan Ryan's book and look at the pictures and read her explanations. So you need to gather some more information, which I'm providing, and you can look at additional 800 YouTube shows I have on health. Just go to YouTube, Rudy Cashman, name it, dementia, diabetes, they'll pop up for you. And a lot of my books now, because I moved recently to the downtown at the Wesleyan Library on the 3rd floor, you have access to them for free too now. Also in the library that I am in, but they're not gathered all in one specific section, although they have a health section here at the library, and you can go through that here. And I'm so grateful to the library for allowing me these TV shows. The information is spreading out there. Then the library sends it to YouTube, and then it spreads all over the world. So we are indeed changing the world. Although I have to be concerned about our school system, just pull it up, Google it. You'll see what they're feeding their kids turns them into sugar addicts in high school. Yes, I want you to look at that, and if you see me, tell me what you thought about it. Why do I do this? Because I love you. I want you to live forever, be healthy, to be able to play pickleball or tap dance with me. See you next time. Read these books, look at other YouTube shows, and you will have a lot of information that you can live forever in good health. Thanks for listening. I really enjoyed giving this. I hope you learned something. We're also starting podcasting. We'll have that out there soon, too. Thank you so much. Namaste.